Hey guys, how's it going? This is X, and I'm out here in the Blasted Lands in front of Dreadmaw Hold because there's a mob inside of here, inside this building, who cannot be killed. Let me start the timer so I know how long I'm talking. There's a mob in here who can't be killed unless you have a specific quest, and because he can't die no matter how much damage you deal to him, he's a great target to test your threat per second. Now, why do I want to test my threat per second? I got a comment on my Frost Tanking 101 Chapter 1 video from a user named Virgo4200, and he asks, I got a question about boss tanking. What is a good rotation to getting lots of threat? I'm having threat per second issues with bosses. This is a very good question, Virgo, and I felt that I was not qualified to answer it, believe it or not. I mean, I know I've done a lot of tanking videos, but threat is very much a numbers game, and I am not a min-maxer. I adjust my playstyle. I maximize my playstyle, not my numbers. So I didn't feel that I was qualified to answer your question until I did some testing of my own. Now, I've never read any forums on threat per second, except for being a warrior. I did one on my warrior, but I haven't done it for a death knight. So I haven't run any tests. I haven't watched any videos, and I haven't read any forums on the topic. So that makes me horribly unqualified to answer your question. So what I was going to do was I was going to come out here to Dreadmaw Hold and run some tests of my own, and then make a video on the results. But instead of doing that, what I decided to do was I decided to just let you guys in on the testing itself. So I'm actually recording live audio, so forgive any button mashing you might hear. Usually I record video and then I narrate on top of it, but this time this is completely live. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get in, and I think I have an idea of how to answer your question, but to be sure, and I hope this succeeds, I want to go in and run these tests first. So let's see how it goes. My default setup here is the same spec and gear that you saw in Frost Tanking 101. To get a little more detailed, I have two Rhymefang's claws as my weapons. Whoa, a pat. Let's take care of this guy. Dead. Let's loot him up just because I'm uh, I'm a thief. Okay, so yeah, two Rhymefang's claws. They're fast weapons. They have a top end damage of 396 each, and I don't have any problems in heroics. And since I don't do raids, you know, I may not be the best person to ask as far as threat per second is concerned, because I know raid tanks are really concerned with that, whereas I typically don't have to be too much. But still, I'm gonna do my best to see what I can do for you. All right, we take out all of his ads first, and there he is in the middle of the room. I'm going to open up Omen, and I made sure the window is nice and big for you guys here in the middle of the screen so that you can see it on YouTube. And make sure you're watching in high definition so you can see the numbers clearly. And let's just get started. I'm going to be using the same rotation that I use in Frost Tanking 101, which is Icy Touch, Plague Strike, Blood Strike, Blood Strike, Obliterate, Frost Strike, and then my free Howling Blast. Alright, so Omen is saying I'm at about 5.5 threat per second right now, which is good. Not many DPS can get up to 5.5 right now on single targets. So that's a good number right there. That's probably how come I don't find many people pulling aggro off of me. Now, I do know a few people who do on a regular basis. But, wow, okay, I'm at 7.4 now. 8.3, 7.9, 8.2. So it looks like, yeah, I think I can clearly see why I'm doing pretty good. I haven't run these tests before. This is actually enlightening to me. Uh, and if you're learning anything from it, then, you know, that's good for the both of us because I've never actually done this. I'm back down to about 6.5 now. Refresh my diseases using Pestilence this time instead of the actual strikes. And all I'm doing, Virgo, all I'm doing is making sure my diseases stay refreshed, triggering Rune Strike whenever it comes available, and other than that, I'm spamming Obliterate in the hopes of getting a free Howling Blast that I can use. And whenever I see my disease is getting low, I either recast it with Icy Touch and then Plague Strike and then continue spamming Obliterate and Rune Strike, or I use Pestilence to refresh them. Okay, so this is what I've been doing for a good minute or so now, I think, maybe. And I seem to be jumping between 4 and 6.5 or so. So I think on average, we can fairly say that my threat per second with this setup is about 5 to 5.5 threat per second. Because you don't want to count the lows and you don't want to count the highs. You want to count what you got, the majority of the time. And for the most part, on average, I was averaging about 5 to 5.5 thread per second. 5 to 5.5k thread per second. So now here's where I think the answer to your question lies. How you can generate more single target threat. I have a slow main hand weapon here. It's called Nighttime. It's an axe. And whereas the Rhymefang's claws have 396 top damage, Nighttime has 605 top damage. And my theory here is that Rune Strike, Obliterate, and Frost Strike should hit harder with a slower main hand weapon, and in turn should generate more threat on a single target. So let's see how that actually plays out. Again, same rotation, no buffs. Icy Touch, Plague Strike, Blood Strike, Blood Strike, Obliterate, and then my Free Howling Blast, which I usually count on. Okay, so I'm starting off at 6.1, which is one that we started off at last time. Hovered down to 5. Oh, okay, well that's bad. That knockback that he does, it resets your threat. So now I'm having to fight through the negatives at this point. And it quickly resets though. Alright, so now that it's reset, let's do Icy Touch, Plague Strike. We're kind of starting over here. Blood Strike, Obliterate, and then my Free Howling Blast. And the whole time, I'm making sure to trigger Rune Strike every time it comes up immediately. That is so important. That's probably the big, wow, 8.4, 9.1, 9.5. Holy cow, 9.5, 10,000 threat per second. And that's because my diseases even fell. Yeah, that is insane. I haven't dropped below 5 yet with this either. And that's because my threat got reset as well. And my diseases dropped off. Okay. Yeah, I'm hovering anywhere between 6 and 7, and I spiked up to 10. That is ludicrous. That is raid worthy, actually. I mean, even raid DPSers, unless you're in a top-end guild right now, aren't pushing 10,000 DPS on a single target on average. So, I mean, that is incredible. That was an incredible spike in threat. So, yeah, I think I was right. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I was right, in that if you want to increase your threat per second, I'm gonna get away from this guy now before these ads respawn. Before our alliance come or something. Not that I'm afraid of alliance. Hear my voice crack there? My God, I'm 27 years old. My voice should not be cracking still. Problem is I've been in vent all night. I actually just got out of a raid. What'd you see right there? That 6:05 on the clock? That's 6:05 a.m. I'm still awake from yesterday to make this video, guys. I wanted to make sure that I got here when there would be low traffic. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that was very enlightening to me. I think, Virgo, what you can do is, even if you have to drop a little bit of parry or dodge or stamina, try and pick up a slow main hand weapon, and I think that will do wonders for your single target threat per second. I'm going to do some more tests, and ultimately I'll come out with probably a more definitive answer sometime in the future, but in the meantime, I think this is a great way for you to begin. Secondly, let's take a look at glyphs here. We've got, I picked up Glyph of Obliterate before I started this video. I had Glyph of Death and Decay there, but I picked up Glyph of Obliterate to try and increase my single target threat per second, and I think that's something you can do as well. So Glyph of Obliterate and a slow main hand weapon should do you quite a bit for your single target threat. Alright guys, I'm running out of time, so until next time, go out and have fun. Cheers, subscribe, rate, yada yada yada, all that stuff that I usually say. Let's zoom in on my face. Say bye, X. Oh, look, I have a bye button. Say bye, X. Alrighty. See you guys later.